Hello again. Just pause. Is it going? You know what? I don't even see it going. Let's see. If I'm doing this and I'm showing. Okay, it's going. Sorry. I have cataracts. I'm sorry. But anyway, sin leads to what? Death. Leads to death. And of course, I was talking Adam and Eve. They from the forbidden tree. The forbidden tree was there. God gave them orders not to. Well, gave Adam order not to eat from this tree. Now, what was that before or after Eve? But he gave the order. He gave them, told them not to eat from this tree. It's pretty much when your parents, you want a cookie, and a kid wants a cookie, and the kid says, I want to eat this cookie, looks so good. And of course, mom's preparing dinner. We all been in that stage. As old as I am, I've been in that stage. We all been in that stage where we looked at this wonderful piece of cake or ice cream or whatever, and we wanted it. Of course, we wanted to eat that, and we can't eat that because, of course, we have to eat our dinner. And you wonder, why can't I just eat this and I'll eat my dinner later? No, it just, if you're a kid, it spoils your appetite. It spoils your appetite, and has happened even now when I eat something that's like sweet, and no dinners are like shortly around the corner. I'm going to eat a lot less of it and I may like what I've prepared or is given to me. I may like it and I want to eat this, but that thing I've eaten before my dinner that I wanted to eat, and it could have been a piece of cake, it spoiled my appetite. I can't eat as much of the good stuff that's supposed to be good stuff as the dinner, because we know this. How homework, just take for homework. Homework is like the dinner. Homework is like the dinner. And play is like the dessert. Of course, what kid doesn't want to play? Kids want to play. What adult doesn't want to have chats with other adult friends and just talk on the phone, or do something enjoyable, rather, or just talk to the husband and wives talk together, and they really need to do this, they really need to do this. Well, what does it do to that time that you have to do this? It's short. You can't shorten that time. Shorten that time, then it's gone. Whatever you were going to do before that was important, it's going to shorten that time. Just like homework, you got to do right for your homework. If you don't do well in your homework, which is your lesson for learning, it's going to, and you want to shorten that episode, then how much learning are you learning? Not much. Not learning much. That's why you have to give this time first. Just like a job. You can't go goof off with your friends and then work. If you do that with work, they're going to fire you. Because you need to pay attention to your work before you pay attention to your play. If you play later, you got to do your work right now. So, God put the tree there, not as a temptation to us, but we're going to have this, and it's like a big old test. People don't like big tests, and this is a real giant test. The test is, and he loved Adam and Eve, of course, does these people I've made in my image, will they obey me? He did not set them up to fail. There will be temptations in your life. There will be tempters, like Satan was a tempter to Eve. Came as a form of a snake, and then she was like, oh, what's that thing? You know, it's an interesting creature. But she was intrigued by the snake, of course, you know, and she had to be just, and then here it is talking to her, and that maybe intrigued her even more. Like, wow, that animals is talking to me. Wow, and so she listened to what the snake was saying, and the snake was, she didn't know the snake. Probably she didn't know the snake. The snake was Satan. I would guess that she did not know that the snake was Satan, because then if she knew there was a beaten angel that was dropped down from heaven, uh, then of course she hopefully she'd be on the lookout. It was supposed to be you know, an angel that was dropped down from heaven, and of course the devil's not going to show himself. And I know they show the devil when they do pictures. They show red. When I was going to school, going to Catholic school, they always had this devil image, and the devil was red, and he had pointed ears and these whiskers or something like that, and razor sharp teeth. So of course, if any kid saw that, or if any adult saw that, what would they do? They're gonna stay away from that creature, right? Because that, you know, what's going on with that picture. But they said in the Bible, truly, I mean, I'm sure it's written that, you know, he, maybe in Revelations, that the devil, Satan, was beautiful, you know, handsome, let's say it, handsome. So he's not going to appear to them like that character that of course people even demonstrate when in the comics. They even demonstrate, oh, that's Satan, that's him, Mr. Satan. No, Satan, because you'll run away from that. You'll be scared. No one's going to listen to that. Of course, from the snake point of view, he did not show himself in his true form, but he presented it into a snake. And when you look at that, you know, Satan and demons send messengers all over the place. I mean, a lot of people believe that, you know, for the little petty stuff that we do, like stealing a cookie or disobeying our disobeying a parent, disobeying order, violating an order, it's like as if Satan made them do it. Of course, Satan's not bothered by these little petty things. I mean, let you be aware of that. He's not bothered by this little petty little stealing of cookie. You know, his push is more like those people who blew up the Twin Towers. You know, more so like that. You know, because he wants a big splash. He hates human beings. He hates human beings because why? We're created in God's image. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, some of you might say, ooh, I look so beautiful. Or a guy might say, ooh, I look so handsome. And some other person might say, oh, I look so ugly. You are created in God's image, and you're not ugly. So please don't think of yourself as ugly because I have a big nose. I've been called big nose in school, you know. My sister's been called big nose in school. I probably look like a big nose here. I don't know. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. So I might, and people make comments about, you know, that's ugly, this and that, you know, because we're not going to look like everybody. We're not going to look like every single body, you know. We're not going to look like Barbie. I take, for example, Barbies. We're not going to look like Barbies. Everybody's shaped like Barbie. Everybody looks like Barbie. Everybody looks like Ken. Every guys look like Ken, you know. No. course, we see a lot of people that don't resemble um, that, and some people are thin, very thin. I have some thin guys, and I just think that, from my opinion, that's wonderful. You know, they're thin and they can, and and that means, you know, they can fit in some clothes. I guess, I don't know, that we have laying around here, I guess, but you know, people like to be thin. When you're fat, you like to be thin, thinner, you know, and some people trying to control their weight now, and you know, and people during the pandemic, there's lots of exercise videos, and of course, you know, there's lots to choose from. Of course, when this pandemic is over and you get a job, those not going to be free anymore. You have to pay for it, but we prepare ourselves for that. But during the pandemic, we take this opportunity to do that, to just go ahead and boom, just exercise and whatever, and stay in shape, because you can eat yourself like a pig, you know, just staying at home, you know. And I like to listen to my husband likes to listen to shows, and I do too. He make me listen to it too. But you know, there was a doctor talking about heart disease. Heart disease kills a lot of people. Heart disease, people die of heart attacks, but those are not where they talk about this big thing on the news. People die of cancer. They don't talk about that on the news. I know that scientists are working hard to cure cancer, because we get those commercials, and they say that, and of course I don't doubt it and say, hey, I'll just that's not true. You know, no, I believe it is true. But now sometimes when these things like this happen, like this pandemic, they have to set aside these things and just concentrate on this thing right here, you know. And you have to understand, this is how the world is. This is how the world is. This earth, it was formless. It made beautiful. Adam and Eve had a choice. Just like a choice. You can't force someone to love you. Of course, God being God, he could have done that. He could have made us all robots, and of course we're going to obey him. And of course we're going to be loving him, because we're programmed to love him. And he didn't want that. What person likes to be programmed to be loved? I'm going to force you to love me. And you say, no, I'm not going to love you. Yeah, you will love me. What kind of situation is that? I mean, when you like that person to really, really love, I always got to constantly check. Okay. When you like that person to really, 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 really love you, when he says, loves you, you know, you want them to really love you. You don't want to order them to love you. You don't want to force them to love you. And so didn't God. God didn't want that. And God loves us in spite of our sin. Did you know that? He loves us in spite of our sin. He knows that, you know, when someone then there's a bunch of sin in this world. I can just pick murder. You go and you murder someone. You murder someone. Sometimes they like to put this when it's the same color. And, you know, you don't hear white on white crime. You don't hear Spanish as, Spanish on Spanish crime. You don't hear that. You hear mostly black on black crime. You know why? You know, you hear that. It's like it's the big headliner. It's the black on black crime. Oh, yeah, black on black. And then I've heard that, and I even demonstrate, I can understand that when they're saying when a black person kills another black person, he's killing himself. or black is not attractive, black is this, black is that. I mean, again, no. I mean, uh, you know, we're all human beings. This color that we have upon us, well, we all have red blood. We all have a heart. We all have, um, my organs is placed in, and not placed in a different place from a white person or a Spanish person or a Chinese person. My organs is not here. You ever watch Star Trek? I am a Trekkie, you know. And there's Spock, and I like Spock. Of course, the real actor, he died, and he died of heart disease. I think, yes, he died of heart disease. But that's serious stuff. Okay, okay, but they said that when he was his character, his organs are in different places. So whatever happens to him, he can cure himself. I remember there was one episode he was blind and blinded by the sun or something like that. They were trying to get this alien from his body or whatever, and then when they put the sunlight, he was blind. And then when they saw him again, he cured his own self because he had an inner eyelid. Something like that. But we don't have inner eyelids. We all have the same function. I use my hands to do things. I use my mouth to speak. I use my eyes to see. Of course, I need help with my eyes, but I have hair on my head. And people will use references to color. Color. That's color. You don't see a bunch of flowers fighting. I'm a rose and I'm so beautiful. And there's the tulips right there, and it's like, I hate you because you're a rose. And then there's the daisies and whatnot, and they're fighting each other because they're different. Well, they're different. They're flowers, of course, just like we're human beings, but they're different flowers. They're different flowers, and it's crazy. But when you have stuff like that, that's all the devil. That's all the devil, because he wants to divide you. He wants to divide you. He wants to make it like the blacks are for the blacks. And the whites are for the whites. Not everybody likes the same thing, and because you're black, you like the same thing. And I've seen this when a black person likes this thing and another black person like this thing, and I've heard this comment like, you're supposed to like this because you're black. Like, what? Seriously? So of course we don't need to make it silly. We don't make it silly. We don't all look alike. No, we're not all Barbies. Okay, men are not all Kens. He made us differently. There's no ugly person. And especially, you can be ugly, you can be beautiful, but you can be ugly, have an ugly attitude. And that makes you ugly. I'm sorry. It makes you ugly. So we don't need to have a bad attitude. That, we're beautiful. You're beautiful. But anyway, sin leads to death. And I told you what sin is like this sticky stuff. It's sticky. And if you put it in your it's in the blood, and it's all sticky in the blood. So if you say the baby can't sin, the baby has not sinned. The baby is baby came to the world and is so pure. People like to use that term. It's so pure. It's pure. This baby is so pure. Yeah, but the baby, I'm sorry to say, the baby had the line of Adam and Eve. Go through that. Adam and Eve. Okay? And when we go through that bloodline, we are all stuck with this blood line. Okay? And back then, remember, Adam and Eve and everybody had a covenant. It was a covenant. Think of it as an umbrella all over them. It's a covenant. So um, they were covered. They're the first man and woman. Okay. So, and then their kids were covenant. They were covered. God did not kill Cain, of course, when he killed Abel. Now you may say, "Oh, that poor Abel died. Why was Cain allowed to kill Abel?" And people always use that. Why didn't God stop that? Why doesn't God stop this pandemic? Why didn't God stop? God can do all those things. But you know, I've heard, I was listening on the radio, and of course, I wondered those same things when I was coming up, and I've always asked questions when I was young. Why this? Why that? Why this? And they shut me up and said, "Shut up, you don't need to ask that." You know. But anyway, but I want you to understand that God, and the preacher said that God is for our good. And you might be confused because of this pandemic that God cannot be for our good because of this pandemic. If he's for our good, he would not have let so and so die. Excuse me. He would not let so and so die. Remember, this hit us like a ton of bricks. This pandemic, this hit us. We could see where it was going because all it took was just one person. And that one person coming across, and he can make contact with 10 other people, and then those 10 other people have it. And then one of those 10 other people, several of those 10 other people may expose themselves to different people, and then boom! So it's all over. It's all over, okay? And everybody's afraid of everybody because nobody want to get this disease. Nobody want to get this virus. No one. But you also have to understand that the flu has killed millions of people. Flu has killed lots of people, but you know, and there's different, people ask to get shots for the flu. But then the flu say, "Oh, you're getting a shot." So I'm gonna change my form, and then it's gonna be for another flu. So the shot you got doesn't cover that flu. So it's crazy. These viruses are a beast, okay? They're beasts. They're changed their form. I've heard about bug spray. I know I jump around. But whatever's on my mind, I take it out. I take it out. But I heard about bug spray, like the bugs, even when there's a formula like Raid. I use Raid, okay? I don't like bugs. I don't like roaches, ants. I admire ants, but I don't like them. Um, and like any type of bug, any kind of ugly bug, okay? They can get in your home and scare you, okay? And multiply like by the zillions. But anyway, did you know that every now and again, Raid has to change his formula and make it stronger because these bugs get over that formula. They say, "Okay, that was yesterday, but now I'm still alive." I'm still alive. So they have to come up with a different formula version. And that's exactly what happens with the virus. The virus will change its form, and it's still the flu. It's still a virus, but it will change its form and break off to something else, and then you have to come up with a virus, and you have to pick and choose which virus, which shot you should get. And they said pretty much that's what the COVID-19 does. It's a virus and it changes its form. So, and when people caught the virus, they catch it again, because it's supposed to be where for your white blood cells